Что ж. Я сделала себе чай. Здесь даже не вечер. Так нравится, какая вот именно сейчас мелодия играет. Замечательно. Только мне нужно кое-что у себя настроить. Я надеюсь, на ваш звук это не особо повлияет. А может повлияет? Как-то так. Нужно... Что у нас по заданию? Надо мне вспомнить, что нам нужно делать. Помогите рейверам открыть ночной клуб. Проверьте ловушку и труп на персе. Нам нужно отправиться к Билли. Мы начнем стрим с Билли. С грустного. Нет, давайте закончим на грустном. Вот, бросить конверт в почтовый ящик. Это мы можем, это мы умеем. Это детективная работа. Пойдемте. Ты скажешь мне про анальные шарики?
The dented yellow mailbox greets you with its graffito, bullet holes and an RCM sticker.
Yes, for sending mail.
You drop the white envelope in the darkness. It lands with a soft thud on what sounds like a couple of letters. About a week's worth of mail has collected in there. They'll empty this very soon. Probably did the right thing. You can't trust that slug, Everard. You know he's going to play you somehow.
All right, let's go back to Everard. If we don't mention anything to him, he won't know before it's too late.
Привет, Хуина. Господа, пропустите, пожалуйста. Полицейское расследование очень важно. Секундочку. Хорошо. Ой, как хорошо. Как правильно ты поступил, мистер. Жаль, что мы не можем, после того, как мы вошли через другой вход, мы больше не можем отпиздить головомера просто потому, что хотим отпиздить. У нас нет такой опции. А что если хочу просто с ним подраться? Просто дать ему въебало? Ну, то есть... Кима, не вставай, пожалуйста, мне страшно без тебя. Кима, хватит.
Oh, hey, mister. I knew you'd be back to talk with old Leo here. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. It's like Lady Larice said when she opened a bathhouse in the basement. No trouble at all, mister. No trouble at all. Oh, that one. That should be empty as far as I know. Lots of containers here have nothing in them. They're just waiting to be loaded up.
Told you.
Какого ковер пиздатый, конечно. И так нравится. Hello, bro.
Mr. Dubois, every worker...
Ну, по идее, нужно ответить ему член правления, но на самом деле я не знаю, как вообще с этим всем дела обстоят. Я вот эти другие особо не пробовала. Я типа не ебался с ним особо. И все основное это потому, что Ким отреагирует вот на эти реплики, он, по-моему, вообще не реагирует. Так что давайте как-нибудь пойдем.
Hey, why the hell not? Now, How can I help you today? The Golden Boy returns once more. Wonderful. Simply wonderful, Harry. Of course. I already knew this. My friend, the mailman, confirms the letter is on its way. You've done a great thing today. You've given the children of Martinez a real future, Harry, and I feel I can finally trust you now. You're in my inner circle. You too, Mr. Kitsuragi. We can talk about anything. The strike, the murder, your lost gun, nothing is off the table.
Judging from how happy he is, it looks like you did it. He doesn't appear to suspect trickery.
Harry, I've got to be honest with you. Your gun was found 2 days ago. Withholding this information weighed heavily on me, but it had to be done. Your gun is with an old woman. I hear she's a character, so watch out.
This must be the woman who bought the gun from Roy. The one?
Yes, the same one. I see you've done your research. The pawn shop made the gun easy to track. Crazy stuff, Harry. Selling your gun like that? Wild. Anyway,
Union Boy's gonna help you fix it. He winks at you. Don't worry, Harry.
the neighbours of this old woman contacted my men because they trust me and the Debardeurs Union. Apparently, she was waving it around at the entrance to her building.
Waving the gun around doesn't sound good. None of this does.
Unfortunately, I don't know anymore. You're gonna have to go in blind, Harry. But she's an old lady. How dangerous can she possibly be? Oh, and she calls herself the Pigs.
There it is again. The pigs. Like Roy said, not good at all.
I, for one, find it refreshing. Finally, someone calls themselves a pig.
It actually sounds extremely bad, but let's not give him the satisfaction.
As I said, she's a character. I didn't have time for details. It sounds like she's unstable, but don't worry. No one got hurt.
Unstable is good, actually. She will be easier to disarm. No, wait. Actually, unstable is pretty bad.
I already have. Tonight, starting 10 o'clock, near the old fish market on the coast, the one on the boardwalk, a little past the fishing village. Be careful, Harry. I would never set you up for anything dangerous, but you did ask for this. Now, back to the fun stuff.
She will be there from 2200 hours till 0200 hours.
More fun stuff. Seems like we already have fun stuff to do.
Order it. You know my men didn't kill him. They told you. It was a happy accident. You know how it is. No one takes the initiative. If I wanted him dead, I would have had to do it myself. And I'm too fat for that. Why, a war, of course.
And what do you have to gain from a war?
Victory, Mr. Kitsuragi. I have victory to gain. We are going to start a war with the Wild Pines group and win before they even realize there is a war. Harry, we outnumber them 1,500 to 1, and that's just Martinez. With all the unions in Rebishon, and with public opinion on our side, we can hold off 2 men, or 15 men, or even 50 men. The more they send, the worse it's going to look for them. They made a huge mistake hiring those guys. No one likes foreign mercenaries. The leftists hate them, the fascists hate them, even the moralists think they're in bad taste. Harry, there is no strike, only war. Class war. Or, in business terms, a dawn raid. Or wait. Is that when you still pay them something? Because we won't do that. We're not going to give nothing. We're going to take Terminal B away from them. The roads, the gates, the containers, that big crane, even the damn coffee maker. We're going to take all of it for the people, and fuck Wild Pines.
The word fuck rings like a gunshot from his mouth. He doesn't swear often.
So that's why you haven't met Joycine?
Yes. It's also why I let that midget Gaumont go. He's too nice. I can't put him through this. Plus, he knows how to get in here. That woman can't tell her tits from her arsehole. She has no chance. Tits from her arsehole. It's a local saying. Because we're friends, Harry. Besides, it doesn't matter now. You can go tell her if you want. It won't change the course of events. We have a significant head start. It's already happening. Oh, you mean what sort of goods are going to be flowing through? How am I going to replace all the contacts we'll lose once the poo-poo hits the fan? The clients will ditch us. Harry, we've thought of everything.
Clients would take a well-known multinational conglomerate over a local mobster any day.
Sure, some will go, but mark my words. The company will be unpleasantly surprised to see how many of them stay loyal to Martinez and to the new competitive contracts we can offer. With renewed zeal sparked by communal ownership, the men will be shipping those containers double time. You'll be surprised to see how fast things go without parasites latching on. We'll have our hands free to pursue bold, exotic new revenue streams.
That's drugs.
Drug trafficking.
Drug trafficking? Don't be stupid, Mr. Kitsuragi. There are perfectly legal, 100% ethical chemical factories on the Samarin Isola. You don't need to be colonialist about it. All they do is produce components to keep the pharmaceutical industry running. That's people's health we're talking about. Old grannies, little babes, people with disabilities. The company thinks transporting these chemicals in bulk looks bad, has bad optics, may be illegal in some countries. The Debarders Union, however, we're all about the large volume column. We're gonna transport the living daylights out of those materials, Harry. So your sick kid can get his benefit and your wacky uncle doesn't have to come off risperidone.
And the kids on the street can get speed and pyrrolidone.
I'm an old-fashioned guy, Mr. Kitsuragi. I sometimes grab a beer with the boys, but I have no idea about the things you just mentioned. But if I were to supply ingredients for some sort of rainbow party, I would make sure the Union took a fantastic share, and I'd keep that stuff far away from Martinez. It's also far removed from my men and the people of Martinez who've put their trust in me. Anyway, let's not focus on the sensationalism of the drug trade. This hypothetical drug trade is all anyone ever seems to be interested in. It would only be a small part of the harbour's turnover, just like the harbour is, but a small part of Martinez. Let's look at the big picture. Martinez as a whole. There are little girls out there with dreams of making music. Young mothers who want to start businesses. Models who want to walk catwalks and steel welders who want to weld steel. I'm going to unite them all into one economic body. We're going to incorporate this place to Kingdom Come. Everyone's going to be in on the wealth. And everyone's going to pull their weight.
Let's keep focusing on the drug trade. He was almost admitting to it.
Мне кажется, если буквально ему это сказать, он как бы развернется. При этом вот здесь очевидно есть наши политические ответы, то есть вот это, как его называют, капиталисты, короче, это социалиста, это фашиста, и получается вот это у нас моралист. Если мы качаем моралиста, нам нужно ответить последнее. Но я не знаю, что будет, если мы спросим его здесь. Ну, Боля говорит, что он фашистский признал. Ну, он не признается. Он же тварь, он опытная тварь. К тому же, если мы будем говорить такой формулировки. Есть большие сомнения. Ты как бы либо моралист, либо коп. Я не хочу смотреть на общую картину.
No, Harry. That's boring. All right, it's gone. The hypothetical raw materials trade is off the table. It's such a small and insignificant slice of revenue, I'm cutting it. Boys, Harry felt queasy about it. We're not doing it. Can we talk about my beautiful incorporated Martinez and its many-sided business ventures now? This bold new vision of incorporated socialism I'm offering?
О, у нас все еще осталось.
Harry, the length you're willing to go to keep your nose clean is remarkable. You will always have a warm bed in Mr. Clare's household, my friend, and a special place in the future of Martinez. We're way past specific union members now. This is the big time. We're talking about the future of Revachol here, Harry. You can bother Leonard with that. He loves to run his mouth on such matters. But I'm in big-time mode, Harry.
There's something different about him now. He's more vibrant, more alive in his big-time mode.
2,372. Plus yours truly, of course.
2,373 is a sizable contingent for a labour organisation in Revachol. And they're all well motivated, at least the ones you've seen.
No idea. Could have been his own mother for all I know. If you ever find the guy, give him a big fat kiss from Everard Clare. Couldn't have done it without him.
У меня поцелуй только для одного хорошего мальчика. И это явно не убийца всяких чуваков. Не пойми откуда.
A guy, huh?
I don't. I told you it could have been his own mother. I'm pretty sure it wasn't anyone from the union. Maybe it was the mob. Or maybe he killed himself because he was a closet socialist. Truth is, I simply don't know. Great, Harry, great. I think we have truly built a bridge between Martinez and Jamrock today. We have united the RCM and the Debarders Union. This has been so great. I'm sorry we don't have more fun things to do together, but if you ever feel like bouncing something off me, my door is always open. My dear Harry, there are literally millions of containers in this harbour. I couldn't... Harry, you smooth-talking son of a bitch. Time is a precious resource, and I don't have enough of it to count containers with you.
Smooth talking. Maybe that's the way to go about opening the container. You should at least try convincing it.
Нормально поговорила. У нас есть очко навыков. Замечательно. Координация у нас нормальная. Восприятие вообще заебись. Авторитета, возможно, нужно поболять. Или полицейской волны, тогда мы будем чаще слышать наших чуваков. Но на самом деле авторитет нам нужен только для того, чтобы узнать секрет КИМа и победить его великую бровь. Ну, на самом деле, не только. Скажу по секрету, не только. Нам нужно зайти по бульке, которая дальнобойщица, которая вот Боядейру. Ну, она не Боядейру, но ей нравится Боядейру. Ну, кемпер побежал. Еще мы на самом деле вообще нормально не поговорили с дедами. Мы как-то вообще их проигнорировали. Мне кажется, это немножко ужасно. Они особо не квестовые, они там по приколу стоят. Они тебе особо ничего не рассказывают. Просто угораешь на нем. Там есть дед такой, короче, сторонник сюзеренитета. Так, нет, ну бабулька. Раз пока мы здесь. Мадам. Ага, она здесь.
The woman is still hunched over the rail.
Huh? What is it? What do you want? And what is that?
Great. He asked the Pines rep about the pin.
Тебе не обязательно защищать меня, я уже большой мальчик. Нет, не хотел, чтобы ты меня защищал. Не могу действовать в этом мире, не разбираясь в волосных понятиях.
Fine then. Just try not to black out again, and don't contemplate. You don't have time for that.
О, я уже размышляю, каким я выхожу из этого экзистенциального заключения. Да, не буду, если только для детективной работы. Больше ни для чего не нужно. Пока что. Все связано с серостью, мое состояние дела, все это энтропонетика. На самом деле это связано с делом. Частично, более или менее. Но мы признаем эту детективную работу, потому что мы козырные iguana.
That is exactly what I didn't want you to do. Man, my partner wanted to know if you work in Pale Transport.
No offense. But your partner seems like a bit of an idiot.
Моя хорошая, ты его не обижаешь, он знает гораздо больше тебя.
Republica, a filterless cigarette from mist.
Like Gabriel Buenguerro in Segúreme, Paraíso. You're the opposite of me, then. I remember everything, even the things I never knew. The smell of liquor on Gabriel's lips after the shoot, in the motor park. The roses on the day of Franco Negro's coronation, on the grand stairs of Briar. The smoke from the Fowling piece when Dolores Day was shot. The look on her face, like an orgasm. The wound in her chest. My hand in my father's hand. Except I never had a father, and I never shot her innocent Dolores Day. Thought insertion, dithering, the Grad Catalan Magistral. It's more than dangerous. It's sad. But at first I had to make a living. Now, when you've seen it all go away like that, rolling off like they say, and then come back to this, what are we doing here? For thousands of years, Gabriel. It doesn't have to be like this. We can just give up. We can just become a vapor. Like looking into the ocean tonight. in the dark. You cannot see it, but you know it's there. And it's big, bigger than anything. Bigger than all the other things combined. Nothing. Until it starts. When you are deep enough. Then, for me, it's like autumn. Dark, gray, and orange. The orange of street lights and the color of streets in electric light. It smells like autumn too. It smells terrible.
Nostalgia. Cooped up in the cabin, shaking. Terrible nostalgia. For yourself. For humans. It's too much to bear. She loves it.
In the belly of an airship, behind the sail windows. So you don't look straight into it. It's not advised to look into it. No, the same one, a roller. They all are nowadays. Special wheels for connecting to the floor of the hold.
The wheels all small and round. Multi-axle trailers.
Yes. They say there is a point, one that I have not crossed. The Pell super deep. If you stray too far, of course, on the U41A, or in Lomonosov's land, where every step you take is one step further from home, no matter the direction. It's a point you cannot come back from. Your mind becomes so radiant with the past, there is a flip. Instead of writing, it erases memory, nearing some kind of indescribable finale. Maybe you've been down the motorway south. It's a story as lone horsemen tell. Lone horsemen, Harife, not Pell drivers, way beyond the established Pell that's lit by radio frequencies, where it goes silent and dark. And the process begins, erasure, kilometer by kilometer, in any direction. The motorway south is a road you cannot come back from. No one knows what's at the end. I've only glimpsed the beginning. I've only felt it in the distance, when I was a child rowing on the lake. Josiane.
There is nothing more to do now. She's far away.
You've fried both your brains enough for today, detective. Let's get some air. This one's far gone.
Что вот ты так переживаешь? Что вот... Я не знаю, что дают Южное шоссе где-то, но я очень хочу его. 8 часов, ёб твою мать. У нас буквально осталось, получается, на гомосексуальное подполье, на Южное шоссе и на Фейрвейзер 500. Нет, на пистолеты. Ёб твою мать, либо мы что-то должны забыть. Возможно, тряпкособирательство. Потому что наша так как бы стойкость нормальная абсолютно. Нам не нужен высокий лимит. Мы можем ее забыть. Забудем о том, что мы собирались как тряпка, и вспомним о Южном шоссе. Ну, понятно, нам самому нужно очко для этого. Что у нас там? Я же что-то заработал, что это? У меня же был опыт. Чё? Если мы с девчулей так поговорим, получится какой-то опыт, нет? Нет, наверное. Пиздим с дедами, что ли?
Officer! Ah. God damn it. Pull yourself together, René. What do you want? I prefer the old name. Insulindian Lily. Girls brought them to young cadets when they entered service. Wearing them on your cap was supposed to bring good luck. It used to be. But the communards were fond of them too. Call them revolutionary flowers. Bells of the revolution. You know what? Now, they brought me misery, false hope, and disappointment.
You stirred up some bad memories then.
But it wasn't the revolutionaries that sold the ID for you, was it? She gave them to me too, and your jealous little heart just couldn't accept it.
Enough! I can go over these matters in detail with you, Gaston, but not while we have company. So, officers.
Maybells don't blossom yet, do they?
Maybe on some remote parts of the city they do. But I think you'll have to wait for at least a month. Unfortunately, I don't. Unlike most of the locals, I have no qualms about assisting law enforcement. But this affair has passed me by completely. In Martinez, the union is the law. So can you really blame them? Cop is a pejorative term. I don't have a problem with policemen. On the contrary, I admire the effort to bring order to our streets. If I knew, I would not be afraid to tell you. I simply don't. I'm an old man, not a coward. The daily business of the riffraff no longer concerns me. Yes, the Debardeurs Union pays me to stand vigil during the nights. Not out of any political allegiance, mind you. I'm an old man. Don't sleep more than a few hours every night anyway, and money is tight.
He feels like he has to justify himself for some reason.
Yes, it does. Unfortunately, I wasn't working that night. Been on a 2-week leave since last Monday. It's a private matter. Nothing to do with your investigation.
You see, officer, René is the kind of man who would rather die than admit he needs medical assistance or, God forbid, seek it. A real man's man is just gonna ride it out.
I'm fine, goddammit. Mind your own business. It's nothing. Just got to cut back on coffee.
It's his heart.
No one. The boss has been unmanned since last Monday. There's no other guard. It's just me.
No one has been guarding the container yard since last Monday.
Yes. It's not actually an issue. I mean...
Look, officer, the container yard doesn't actually need a guardsman. Never had one before René. Monsieur Claire had that booth built specially for him. It's mostly decorative.
The possibility of someone being in there is enough to discourage any ill-minded individuals.
Evrard created this job for René because he knows the Royal Carabiniers' pension of honor and PTSD isn't something a man can live off. A decorated Kingsman collecting tear reflects bad on the whole neighborhood. His words.
Я тоже этим подрабатываю. Ну, ты подрабатываешь этим, Гарри. Ну, вообще, Рене будет охотнее отвечать, ну, как-то охотнее будет идти с вами на дальнейший контакт, если мы скажем вот это вот «борись или умри», потому что это, ну, в его духе и все такое. Ким никак на это реагировать не будет, ему это вообще ничего не интересно, по большей части. Но мы играем булочного Гарри, поэтому мне кажется, это весело.
Oh, I didn't mean to imply there's something wrong with that. I do it too. Everyone does it. It's an excellent side thing.
Спасибо, Гастон, ты меня понимаешь.
Yes, yes, yes. Can we conclude the topic of my guard boots now? She is nobody. This is none of your concern. And I refuse to discuss my private affairs with the RCM.
The lady is Jeanne-Marie Beaulieu, and she sure as hell wasn't a nobody.
Yes, yes. Like I said, it would be up anyway, so might as well keep an eye out. It keeps my senses sharp. Yes. The terrain here provides an interesting variety to a familiar game. Yes. It was left by heavy artillery fire. Why what? Because that's what happens when communards hijack your country, execute your supreme leadership, and turn your capital into a slaughterhouse. You use heavy ordnance to clean up your home. Sadly, no. It was the foreigners who brought them to their knees. We fought valiantly, too valiantly. So valiantly we got licked. Should have fought dirty, like they did with their suicide sex cult propaganda and mad anarchist women strapped to shrapnel bombs. We didn't so, and we lacked caliber. God bless him, but the suzerain's cannons simply weren't big enough.
It was probably a bit more complicated than that.
This place is the damn beachhead, son. They had to soften the commies up first. Yes, the military coordinated amphibious landing to take back Revachol.
He finds your lack of historic knowledge troubling, a sign of mental deterioration in the preceding generations.
Martinez was used as one of the 3 footholds in Revachol during Operation Deathblow in 08. The other 2 are off in Stella Maris and the Delta. This here is Blood Ground, where Coalition boots first made landfall and cleaned those rabid dogs out. Most likely, we're playing pétanque on their mangled corpses.
Blood ground. You got old René going there. Like he isn't hungry enough already.
Don't get me wrong, officer. I hate those foreign dogs, but the enemy of my enemy and all that. They're the lesser evil. Damn right, son. They laid the fire of hell on the city before they stormed it. And it worked, too.
He approves of this radical approach, knows it was necessary.
The rest of the city got cleaned up, but Martinez they keep as a monument. And now the Union Socialists are practically running the place.
Well, it's your own damn fault. You, we, the coalition, Revachol, whoever you want to blame, never finished the job. Officially, the party never surrendered. Of course they still hold influence.
You don't even begin to truly understand the players of the table, let alone the specific circumstances surrounding them. What do you think?
Мы качаем моралисты, поэтому...
I'm just so damn sorry it had to be the coalition. After 8 years of fighting those hyenas, boiling cats for food and drinking piss in the mountains, I would have preferred if the Right Honorable King Guillaume returned to Revachol, or even if that damn clan Fouissel had risen from the grave and led us. Sadly, that was not the case.
This royal failure weighs heavily on him.
Instead, all that is just, holy, and beautiful in the world was wiped away, and now it's neon signs with toothpaste ads everywhere. Foreign influence peddling garbage and stupid music on the radio. This is just what the commies wanted. This was the plan all along. This is what they wanted to replace the role of the suzerain with. It doesn't. That was 100 years ago. Ain't got nothing to do with anything. Damn Frissel. He was the king we couldn't protect. The Carabineers failed him, and the crown. He died in the hands of the Hyperlay, in a very public execution.
He slouches as he says that. It makes him smaller, admitting they left the king to the mob.
Не просто публичная казнь, это очень публичная казнь. Ну, здесь это ненавидели.
A true king in both blood and mind, led Revachol before Frissel. He would have been better, but the damn commies drove him into exile. The suzerain is the king! Has everyone forgotten already? They've forgotten already. It's no use talking to you. You were still in Daddy's borders when it happened. When we took our last stand against the filth and rode the cavalry straight into gunfire.
An extremely inadvisable strategy against automatic weapons. Be sure not to make the same mistake. All you observe is a veteran refusing to let go of the past and his old uniform. This is not uncommon.
This is the uniform of the Royal Carabineers in service of Frissel I, Guillaume le Lion, and the...
Don't you mean Frissel the Fan?
You do not speak his name, Craven, although he was a clown. But he was our clown, ours to ridicule and to mourn.
There's something you missed. You will get to it. Don't worry.
I have really outdone myself. This...
Yes, that's what you need, Gaston. More padding on that fat ass of yours. I hope your heart gives out.
René, it's a little pleasures. Life doesn't need to be a struggle. Hello, officer. How might I be of assistance on this fine day? Let me think. I heard someone was hanged and left on a tree for a week, but that's all I know, really. No, officers, I'm sorry, and I really would like to assist. You are both good guys. I can see that.
Then help them, you wimp. You have plenty of shoulder with the gauche caviar in the Union. Someone must know something.
I wish I could, but I just don't know anything. I always keep my nose clean and don't gossip. Everyone knows and respects that.
Respect?
I'm not even anyone.
Of course he's holding back. His mouth is so full of Union prick he can't even speak properly.
Can I at least finish my fucking sentence before you piss on it? Is that okay, René? I'm not anyone important in the Union. I just know Evrard. Everyone in Martinez knows the Clare brothers. I taught these boys human studies and history in the gymnasium.
What do you know about history? You never witnessed history. Only heard about it years later, when it had already moved on. You don't...
The old soldier mumbles something under his breath and turns to face the sea.
Мне иногда кажется, что они договорили, но они не договорили.
The blind leading the blind doesn't even begin to describe it, is what he said.
Let's try not to get caught in a crossfire.
Lest we leave riddled with bullet holes. This animosity is ancient.
Oh, in many ways, yes. Like an honorary member. I attend meetings and parties, help with little things. Evrard, Edgar, and the older debarders all know me. Not in the technical sense. I don't have a vote or a membership card, but Evrard keeps me on the payroll, just for the little things.
Of course he's not a member. He's not a member of anything. I knew that. He's a Vezavein. Turns the way the wind blows and tries to look important. I hate this socialist rabble, but even siding with them is better than living your entire life on the fence. Never.
Writing work mostly. Occasionally, he needs something written, and I happen to have a way with words, people say. Oh, nothing official, I assure you. Just essays for the newspapers. About Martinez and how things are and how they could be. Evrard and I have these long talks where...
Well, he tells his little penman exactly what to say. It's commie propaganda, plain and simple. You should be ashamed of yourself.
On the Union track? No, thank you. For being consummate professionals, you'll have this case wrapped up in no time.
Сразу видно пропагандиста.
I'm sorry, officer, but I really don't share food. Nothing personal, it's just a principle.
The only one you have.
Suddenly you realize how hungry you are. The last time you ate must have been God knows when. The sandwich looks like a culinary wonder, well made and abundant in components. The author sure knew their craft. In addition to the obvious slice of ham, a fat one, you notice a brim of a tomato peeking from below. And is that mayonnaise?
Believe me, officer, I wish I could help you, but I need this sandwich to keep my blood sugar stable. In my age, you need to pay attention to these things.
Я просто знаю, что сэндвичем, по идее, можно поделиться с Кимом. Так бы я его не забирала, но...
You can barely hear him. The sweet smell of pickles in harmony with garlic butter and marinated onions emanating from the sandwich is driving your mind in a singular direction. It must be yours. And then it hits you. The brilliant bastard has drenched the entire sandwich in honey mustard. That's incredibly decadent and delicious.
Fuck off! It's mine!
A glimmer of respect flashes in Rene's eyes.
Sorry, officer. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it in a bad way. But the sandwich is mine. I'm not gonna share it.
And it's gone.
When the dissidents come to rape our country, he hides. But try to get a bite of his dear sandwich and he gets claws.
Нам нужна
You're a
риторика.
special kind of vermin, Gaston.
Сука, я надеялся, что внушение там что-нибудь. Нет риторики на сэндвич. Блядство. Что там еще можно сделать? О, мы можем зайти к лестнице. У нас есть деньги на нашу идеальную кость. Отлично. Крысы, привет. Наверняка его зовут Реми. Здравствуй, Лель. Ты все еще здесь? Ой. Ты? Мы, кстати, можем почитать эту хуйню, но это слишком хуйня. Как-нибудь потом, когда нам будет вот прям вообще нехуй делать. Здравствуй, мой хороший. Ой, извини. Сейчас. Я нажму на себя. Ага.
Oh, it's you again. Are you looking for a dye?
Да.
Excellent. That will be 10 real for one set of magnetic dies. This was an especially fun set to make.
Dazzling. It's like you have a pair of tiny disco balls in your hand.
Маленький крепыш, жаль.
More or less. Are you interested in anyone specific?
Oh, quite a lot of them spring to mind.
It wasn't merely a gym, it was Artemiteps Boxing Club, a community project created to steer at-risk youth away from drugs and crime. A kind man from Zemsk. I heard he had some trouble with the law when he was younger, and that's why he wanted to start the gym, as his way of giving back. Kuno. Who's Kuno? Oh yes, you mean the kid with the sailor's mouth? Yes, I've heard him yelling profanities in the backyard. I think it would take more than a gym to help that kid. It didn't. If anything, it made the youth situation in Martinez even worse. At some point, someone started a rumor that the punching bag downstairs was full of amphetamines.
You should have known it. It's not really full of that. No one would store their drugs like that.
Eventually, the coalition took away the funding and the club went bankrupt. This was a few years ago. It's gotten much more peaceful around the plaza ever since. Oh, this one's a mess. There used to be a company that promised to repair windows 24 hours a day. Turns out, the business was actually set up as a front for an illicit group that was producing snuff medias. Who would have guessed? And they never cleaned up the debris either. Now it's just littering the hallway and I have no idea how to get rid of it on my own. It's a sub-Rosa radio station that broadcasts real murders with real victims. Some people pay good money to get off on it.
Если мы помним, то братик нашего мистера Китс занимается окнами.
What does she mean to get off on it?
Don't worry, the ACP has a separate division that deals exclusively with unlicensed sub-roses. This isn't our problem.
Good luck with that. It's not easy catching those perpetrators. You mean Mr. Fabron, the taxidermist? No, he mostly just did drugs.
But what drugs exactly?
He got high on some weird taxidermy chemicals. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Eventually, they caused him to lose control of his bladder. The smell was awful.
Even you can probably do better than that. You can almost see it. A small, sickly old man, hunched behind his work desk, his pants stained with old piss, stuffing a sad, stiff-legged raccoon dog. The entire scene looks tragic.
Yes, I think it was called Androgynous Orlando or something similar. They weren't a big hit around here. Turns out that working class men don't like genderless haircuts. They're scared of that word.
You wouldn't like it either. The others would laugh at you.
Иди нахер. Может быть, Киму бы понравилось.
It's not about the haircut. It's about the confidence.
Не думает он о прическах и носит такие усы. Ну, пиздец.
I guess it just wasn't the time yet. There used to be a fashion atelier here, but I have forgotten the head designer's name. They were doing well for a couple of years, until the insect rights activists came. Yeah, the atelier didn't know it either. They produced a certain collection that used chitin among the materials. Apparently chitin is made in the Occident, where it's extracted from beetle wings. And you know how all kinds of political movements are big in the Occident. The activists shut down the biggest chitin supplier, which of course caused the price to skyrocket. And, naturally, all the most fashionable tastemakers refused to be seen in Kyton from then on. The atelier went bankrupt before they could finish the collection. Really? Anyway.
Poor guy. Suddenly, you get a feeling that insects are important to the case somehow. It's hard to say why.
They were made by a company called Slipstream. After they pivoted from making rotor blades to skis, their chief executive took off on a vacation with all their money. Honestly, I think it's quite funny. I think he's still sending out holiday transmissions from Tulula or Tiumotiri or Hashkor or wherever he is. Sure, it's illegal, but it's not exactly anything extraordinary in business. Besides, Slipstream is history now. All their remaining assets got seized by the bailiffs in '47. I have no idea why those skis and blades are still lying around.
They were just the props. Why return them? Maybe you could make a sword out of one. No, wait, forget it. It would take too long.
Oh boy, the fabled Revachol ICT. You're in for a treat here. The place was owned by two guys who had some rather innovative ideas about marketing. The bear was one of them. Now ask me about their other ideas. There was really just one, and it involved picking out the prettiest girls in the neighborhood and paying them 20 cents per hour to man the booth.
20 центимов в час. Это, блядь, 1 реал, чтобы заработать, тебе нужно 5 часов предстоять. Это ебанатство. Даже не 5. Не 5, нет?
And by man the booth, I mean slump behind the counter with a face that could maim you if you ever dared to disturb their bored magazine browsing.
Sounds like she really didn't like those girls.
Oh, but they did. They did show up to work, and not alone. There were also acne-ridden girlfriends and gorilla-like boyfriends loitering near the ice cream stand. And they already had the bear. Of course not. The bear was terrifying. No one wants ice cream guarded by a hostile apex predator. To make matters worse, the fridge didn't work too well either, and half the ice cream came out malformed and partially melted. Eventually, Revachol ICT lost the price war to its rival, Glacé 5000. Glacé 5000 sold caramel sundaes for only 5 cents a piece, out of regular fridges. The taxidermist who made it said it was his vision beast. He said he met his vision beast while high on desiccants. He called it Megatherion.
Scary, but cool.
Megatherion, a mega wild beast. It's an imaginary beast that guides you through life by telling you to do more drugs, mostly.
A wise and noble beast, guiding you toward the land where the streets are paved with drugs.
Understandable. You shouldn't do them. You're a police officer after all. Anyway, now you know the story of the fallen ice cream empire.
Мне кажется, из-за того, что мы говорим с ней сейчас и не начали, мы на самом деле не получаем опыта. Хотя у нас появляется уведомление. Ну и ладно.
Little sparkling embers under the window. Outside it's light. Light scatters from the low-hanging cloud cover. There's always the threat of snow.
Anything else? Another failed business, perhaps? I've been here for a long time. Good. I hope it clarified things a bit. What else?
Hey. Psst. Psst. Hey, yes, you. Word on the street is you're ready to start building communism again.
Вообще
You
нет.
keep saying things like, down with the bourgeoisie, eat the rich, sodomize the landowners, impale all people who have more than 25 real in their pocket. Okay, not in so many words, but don't deny it. You're about to rip off that mask of social democracy and reveal the monstrous seven-eyed lamb of global communism that will devour and masticate mankind.
А почему мне об этом говорит риторика?
Everyone can see that. So tell me, do you have any questions before we fire up the big communism builder? Or do we get right down to it? Failure. It's about failure. Of course you do. You are failure. You are communism. Absolutely vanquished, beaten, curb-stomped, shat on, while everyone else is out partying, having a callous laugh. You will reverse the fortune of the workers of the world. You alone, against every living thing, against every human alive. 800 trillion real in the hands of an impossibly well-organized ruling class. Towering city blocks of bankmen who have the ears of prime ministers. Million-headed armies of nations and the love of your own mother.
Ебать, ты разошелся.
You against the atom, the charm and the spin, where the whole world failed. Matter failed to bend to human will. Human will failed to get out of bed and tie its laces. You alone, single-handedly, will rebuild the dreams of the working class. You are the last communist. Now get to work, comrade.
Я не это качал. Уйди.
Very well. I guess no one will build communism then. Tell the working man it's over, unless anyone has objections.
Какой скоп рабочий класс, алё, блядь. Я буквально, типа, я полиция. Абсолютно противоположная тварь.
No objections. It's mathematically impossible to achieve a classless society. Everyone knows this. Did someone mention cocaine? Are we doing cocaine? No. I'm sure I heard someone say cocaineism. Anyone? Anyone else? There's no one? There's one. You should build communism precisely because it's impossible.
И ты туда же, мразь. Ну, у нас хотя бы 7 моралистов. Откуда у нас там было 4 коммуниста? О, у нас есть честь. Нам нужно 3 чести. Нам нужно 3, чтобы совсем было хорошо. Там, по-моему... Я не помню, что. Я просто помню, что цифра 3 это хорошо с КИМом. Все. И еще мы прям очень хороший клуб. Мы экстра хороший клуб. Мы не берем взятки, мы нихуя не делаем, мы клёвые. Мы очень жалкий коп, потому что мы постоянно извиняемся. Нет, да. Спокойная вечера, найти оружие, повыщик тоже вечером. Птицу. Давайте сыграем сюзеренитет с КИМА. Мы должны поиграть. У нас есть баблишка. Давайте посмотрим на кости. 100-граммные кости, сделанные из слоновой кости с ножным магнитом. Если бросить их вместе, они будут притягиваться и отталкиваться, играя друг другом, будто живые. Нам, кстати, нужна карта. Нам нужен стеллаж с детективами и карты. Кстати.
The barbell waits patiently on the floor.
Чего у меня голова-то болит?
The barbell waits patiently on the floor.
Попробуем
The
повыебываться.
barbell waits patiently on the floor, like a dog for its master. Conjuring up an inhuman amount of strength, you raise the barbell up in the air. Your biceps tremble, but you're a savage. This is a children's game. A warm wave of accomplishment washes over your head as you drop the barbell to the floor. For a moment, hey, but you're still in a ghost house. What if someone heard this? What if they know you're here?
Good technique.
Это все, что ты можешь сказать на то, что я крутой? Ты видел, Ким? Ты видел, что я могу? Опа. Ну, ты, кажется, с первого раза получилось. Отлично. Теперь нужно сменить наш тему. Кулдаунс. Кстати, доступная проверочка, доступная проверочка.
Shelves filled to the brim with crime novel. Shelves filled to the brim with crime novels featuring your attempt to grasp at
Какого? И не зря сохранился. Вот не зря. Просто я помню, что где-то здесь должна быть смешная сцена.
Shelves filled to the brim with crime novels featuring your quick eye notices a small caterpillar crawling across the spine of a book. The title reads, Dick Mullen and the Mistaken Identity. A worn paperback from Dick Mullen's classic Hard-Boiled Phase. The premise seems to be that Dick Mullen is framed for the murder of his best friend and has just a few days to prove his innocence. Could it be the motifs of unstable identities and shocking betrayals?
Да, такой же сложный, противоречивый весь.
Perhaps you're drawn to the dark and noirish atmosphere.
Да, мои чувства через глубину меня притягивают.
Is it because the smoking babe in the slinky red dress on the cover is giving you a hard-on? Yes, it is. The bulge in your pants is embarrassingly obvious. Relax. It's not that bad. Also, this means your blood flow is returning to normal. Good news, really.
Something the matter, detective?
The lieutenant narrows his eyes and contemplates the book for a moment.
I would certainly say she fits the description, providing that's her type.
Вы слышите его голос? Вы слышите вот это вот? Просто издевается. Стоит такой. Нет, покупать я это не буду. Мне нужно... Риза как она. Не спиздить может. Многовато за какаду. Давайте сохраним и попробуем не спиздить. Шанс у нас высокий. Что там, техника? Техника. Ша. Uno momento. Раз. Больше больше нам ничто технику не добавляет, да? Сохраняемся.
Slowly, you move your hand toward.
Do we really need to do this? I think not.
Ты только ради тебя. Кстати, нам нужна карта ради быстрого перемещения.
Several maps have been attached to a bulletin board hidden inside the alcove. They're held up by small pins. The board has come loose from one corner. The maps look old and faded. Your eye catches a map of Insulinda, a map of Revachol, and a map of Martinez.
I'm sorry, officer. The map of Martinez is the only one available. The other two are not for sale anymore. And besides, you could scarcely afford them. They're quite valuable, though they might not look it. The map of Martinez is 90 cents, though. Yes, yes. Are you interested or not? Always good to be informed of your surroundings.
Давайте все же купим суверенитет, потому что мы должны поиграть с этим.
A small mountain of colorful board game boxes. There are numerous types of games for all ages. A lot of shelf
Все
space
наши
seems to
деньги.
be taken.
Wonderful choice, sir. A wholesome family game.
Family game, да. А теперь давай как-то встанем в хорошее местечко. Вот тут. Сохранимся. И я играл в суверенитет с КИМом и выбирал, ну, типа, очень коммунистический путь, и там заботился о рабочих и все такое прочее. И, разумеется, проиграл. Вот, но Ким, на самом деле, тогда очень мило заметила, что, ну, несмотря на то, что проебался, ты как бы... У тебя была тактика, и ты ее придерживался, и, типа, игра не поощряет, что ты заботишься о людях, потому что это, типа, суверенитет, это королевство, и для тебя они ресурс. Вот, поэтому... Вот, но Ким очень мило оценивает, что, типа, ну... Короче, он уважает этот путь. У него был очень милый голос, когда он это реагировал. Да, Гарри, у тебя все еще стоят, но вовсе не на цыпочку. Точнее, не на цыпочку на книжке, а на вот эту цыпочку, которую на дрозда этого замечательную. Вот, но можно попытаться его победить. Мне кажется, он все равно нас наебет. У нас будет та самая замечательная фраза, которая всем так нравится. Это Don't Fuck из КАЦУРАГИ. Потом мы еще раз сохранимся на всякий. И попробуем повзаимодействовать. Настольная игра, посвященная созданию цивилизации. Собираясь государство, начинаешь колонизировать и эксплуатировать другие страны и народы. На книгах в форме звезды гласит, что теперь будет включена новая ветка геноцид. Of course. Typical.
In your hands, you hold a brand new copy of the game, Suzerainty. It's snugly wrapped in a skin of plastic. The cover features a charming illustration depicting a mass of grinning laborers loading goods onto a ship, while a richly dressed administrator oversees their work. The box has a nice heft to it. You hear the rattle of individual wooden tokens and feel their weight shifting back and forth. Even before you open it, you can tell that this will be a meaty game of grand strategy and complex player interactions. The plastic wrap rips off as easily as a bodice in a tawdry historical romance. There's a hiss as the lid slides off. Inside, you find a thick, full-color rulebook and more than a dozen pouches of various wooden components.
Гарри здесь почти на голову выше Кима. Это прекрасно.
Savor that new board game smell. A mix of wood, paper and ink, all wrapped in the sweet must of cardboard. Welcome to Suzerainty, a game of economic strategy for the whole family. The rulebook is sumptuously illustrated and thick as a Gradian novel. The colourful illustrations depict cheerful workers picking apricots, hauling marble sculptures out of crumbling temples, and harvesting a strange magenta-leafed plant. Everyone is smiling. The instructions are opaque at first and introduce many concepts you're not familiar with. Fortunately, there are many diagrams and examples throughout. You soon figure out the basic conceit. Each player represents an administrator for the suzerain of Revachol. Your objective is to increase the suzerain's wealth and renown by accumulating victory points. That's where the suzerain's vassals come in. The game features 4 vassal nations, each one home to an economically important resource. Each turn, the player collects resources from vassals where they've placed workers. They may then rearrange their workers, fulfill contracts for coin and bonuses, or build structures back in Revachol. As you leaf through the pages, your eye catches on a sidebar labeled Advice for Beginners. Remember, there are many paths to victory in suzerainty, but successful players will find one strategy and commit to it wholeheartedly. Boring, boring, boring. Tear up this rulebook and commit some old school atrocities. The actual scoring system appears infinitely complex, with a series of tables and appendices required to compute each player's final victory point total. You skip that part for now. The lieutenant looks over the rulebook before he sees something that makes his eyes go wide.
Holy shit. The average playing time for this game is 1 to 6 hours. I'm not sure we can afford to set aside that kind of time for a game.
Его очень легко уговорить.
What is detective work if not an elaborate game? You need logical inference, attention to detail, the ability to analyze your opponent's motives.
Он хотел сыграть, он дал себя уговорить. Вот бы он еще просто дал себя.
I do feel like my thinking has become somewhat rigid. Maybe a little diversion to keep the mind limber is just what's in order.
See? He's doing the hard work himself. All he needed was a little nudge.
Alright, you've convinced me. How do we play?
You explain the basic setup procedures to the lieutenant, who seems to be a quick study. You each take your bag of tokens and counters and unfold the board between you. In the center is the crown of Revachol. Radiating outward are her colorful vassals, each one supplying some raw material desired by the suzerain.
Кстати, если там выбрать, типа, осмотреть содержимое, что-то, короче, там часть фишек нужно доставать из вот этих вот картонных коробочек, типа, когда ты делаешь их тум-тум-тум, то есть, вы знаете, не коробочек, а вот, короче, когда картонки вытаскиваешь, маленькие из большой картонки, я плохо объясняю, перфорированные, короче, фишки. Вот, и там у меня, короче, не было опции, то есть не было опции просто сделать это. Когда ты это делаешь, Ким такой, он не обижается, но он спрашивает, типа, он демонстрирует, что он хотел тоже это сделать. Он тоже хотел повыкидывать фишки. Моя хозяйка. Ну, теперь, я надеюсь, мы сделали это вместе.
Apricots from Safre, archaeological treasures from Ilmarat, sugars from the Seminine Islands, and magenta cocaine from Supra Mawindi and Sarah Maritza. There's also a neat little log to keep track of your progress in case you need to put the game away and return to it later. The lieutenant goes first. He draws a contract card and moves several of his workers to the Safre territory of the board and the others to the Seminine Islands.
Alright, detective, your turn.
You have a few options available to you. Will you try to fulfill contracts right away or rearrange your workers to maximize production on future turns? Remember what the rulebook said. You will want to choose a strategy early on and stay committed to it.
Давайте выполнять контракты. Или просто следовать за КИМА. Но типа я выбирал дать рабочим время на отдых. И что он там сделал? Он отправил рабочих туда и туда. Давайте в другое место отправим рабочих, потому что наверняка как раз его там нет. Значит, должны быть мои.
You draw a contract card offering a number of coins in exchange for archaeological treasures. You place all your workers on the Ilmarat territory. On your next turn, you produce 6 units of archaeological treasure and fulfill the contract for a handful of coins.
Not bad, detective.
But not good enough, the lieutenant seems to be saying. As he completes his own contract card, the lieutenant is rewarded with 4 coins and a round wooden token that he places in the center of the board.
That's a market. It's worth 2 victory points. Don't worry, it was mostly just luck. You'll earn some points soon enough.
What is that patronizing tone? You're one of the suzerain's trusted administrators. You may need to put the lieutenant in his place.
Points are nothing. They don't exist. They're just an arbitrary convention that games use to reward or punish players for certain behaviors. There are some paranoid types who believe the moral intern keeps detailed score sheets for everyone in the Real Bell. But that's obviously nonsense. Otherwise, no. There are no points, just your actions and the consequences of those actions.
Just like there are no honor points. None whatsoever.
That's just the way it is. Now, I believe it's your turn.
Glancing over the board, you see several possible strategies. Pressing more workers into service would increase your economic output and help you to survive a possible conflict with the lieutenant. Or you could ignore your labor supply and focus on fulfilling contracts for points and resources. What do you do?
That's up to you, detective. But remember, the objective of the game is to earn victory points for the suzerain. You should probably pick one strategy and stick to it. Trying to do a little of everything is usually a bad idea. The workers are just there to produce raw resources. You're not supposed to worry about them too much.
The lieutenant assumes you're playing by the rules as written. But what's the point of playing if you can't make your own choices?
Ну, раз мы начали выполнять контракты, давайте пользоваться советом новичков.
Who cares about workers or territories when the real action is in Revachol? You spend your turns fulfilling contracts for sweet coins and one-time bonuses. After several turns, you have a neat pile of cardboard coins and several units of archaeological treasure, which you trade in to build a museum. You place a cylindrical piece of wood on the Revachol section in the middle of the board. It's meant to stand in for a beautifully adorned edifice filled with ancient wonders.
Well played, detective. That museum is worth 3 victory points.
Now it's the lieutenant's turn to respond. He moves aggressively onto the Safri territory. Soon, his workers are producing a steady supply of extremely valuable apricots. How can you let the lieutenant dominate you like that? You need to hit back, and hard. For several turns, you struggle to respond to the lieutenant's burgeoning apricot empire. Eventually, you relocate the majority of your workers to Supremawindi and Saramaritsa, where they begin producing a bumper crop of cocaine tokens. You draw a new contract card. According to the text, there's an aristocrat willing to trade a large supply of cocaine for a number of coins and access to a rare bonus. Amplified music worth 7 victory points. Oh yeah, baby. Cocaine and rock music go together like cocaine and You've reached a critical strategic juncture. How do you respond to the lieutenant's aggression?
Ну... Я не хочу нападать на Кима.
It takes several turns, but you slowly begin accumulating the cocaine necessary to complete the contract. When you do, it practically rains cardboard coins on your side. Feels good, doesn't it? But you know what would feel even better. Drugs, specifically uppers. You should find some the first chance you get. While you daydream about speed, the lieutenant has built himself a formidable economic engine of his own. The end game is upon you. How will you spend the vast resources you've acquired for the glory of the suzerain? Flipping through the manual, you find the most expensive structure in the game, the Revacholian Victory Column, worth 12 victory points. If you can successfully build it, victory will be all but assured. Alternatively, you could try launching a trade war to crush the lieutenant's economy, or you could blow all that money on a public education system for your worker tokens. The choice is yours.
Короче, мне кажется, Донфак из КАЦУРАГИ, оно типа в районе торговой войны находится. Но я не помню. Что мы сделал? Мы хотим просто услышать эту клевую фразу, или мы хотим типа попытаться... Я не знаю, что мы хотим сделать. У нас уже есть музей, мы должны построить театральный триумфальный стол. Я не хочу нападать на Кима в любой ситуации. Но по идее, чтобы получить эту фразу, мне это нужно. Нет, я не хочу нападать на Кима. Даже в игровой ситуации.
Using the substantial coins and resources you've accumulated from diligently fulfilling contracts and constructing trade routes, you spend your final turns constructing the ultimate structure in the game, the Revacholian Victory Column.
Мы можем загрузиться и сыграть еще раз, просто проклаться.
With a triumphant flourish, you remove a rectangular token from one of the satchels and place it next to your museum cylinder in the center of the board.
That's the problem with certain games. At some point, they just end, as though no one expected the players to make it that far. Now, let's tally up the scores, shall we?
Computing the final scores is almost a game unto itself. You each spend an inordinate amount of time making stacks of coins, consulting tables, and struggling with basic addition and multiplication. After double, then triple checking your maths, you have your final score. 35 victory points. The suzerain will be extremely pleased.
I've got 26 points. Looks like you won convincingly. Well played, detective. Now let's clean up and get back to work.
You hold the open game box before you. You open up a number of pouches containing wooden tokens. There are also several punch boards with other cardboard components that will need to be punched out before you can play. Each cardboard token makes a satisfying shk as you pop it out. Soon, a neat pile of cardboard coins and counters has accumulated before you.
What? You're not going to offer to let me punch any of them out?
Ким, у меня не было такой опции. Я бы предложил.
In addition to the worker and building tokens used by each player, there are also several piles of colorful resource tokens, each representing one of the game's 4 principal resources. From the Empire of Safre, orange apricot tokens. From Ilmarat, the ancestral name of Ilmara, grey marble block tokens. From the Seminine Islands, white sacks of sugar tokens, and from Supra Muindi and Sarah Maritza. But
Oh, those are nice.
you hold the open game box before you.
Давайте загрузимся и будем с торговой войной делать, потому что я хочу эту фразу. Да, мы перепроходим только для того, чтобы послушать голос Кима. Не вижу другой вообще более уважительной причины. Оу! Вы как-то... Куда ты упиздовал? Сюда иди. Иди ко мне. Вот так. Мне нравится. О, можем зайти сюда. Достаточно. Нет? Ким, ты как-то... Нет, так я тебя не вижу. Так мне тоже не нравится. Мы должны смотреть как-то хотя бы в одну сторону. Сложно с этим автоматическим передвижением. Вот. Давай. А теперь мы просто все проклацаем.
In your hand, the cover features a charming... The box, and even before you open the plastic wrap, there's a hiss. Savor that new book. Welcome to suzerainty. The colorful illustrate the instructions. You soon figure out the basic. That's where each turn, as you leaf through the pages, remember, boring, boring, boring. Tear the actual scoring system. You open up a number of pouches. Each cardboard token makes a...
What? You're not going to offer to let me punch any of them out?
Я бы предложил, Зая.
In addition to the worker and building token from the Empire of...
Oh, those are not...
You hold the open game. The lieutenant looks...
Holy shit. I'm not sure we can afford to set aside that kind of time for a game.
Завораживающие игровые принадлежности +1 выпускник.
What is detective work, if not... See?
Alright. You've convinced me. How do we play?
You explain the basics. In the center, apricots, there's also the lieutenant.
Alright.
You have a few remember what the rule book said. You will want to choose. You move a few of your workers to the Ilmarat section of the board, and several...
An aggressive opening, detective.
In response, the lieutenant spends 2 of his sugar tokens and 1 of his apricot token.
That's a market. It's worth 2 victory points. Don't worry.
What is that patronizing tone? The lieutenant returns your baleful look with a satisfied grin. Come on, is that your game face? You're practically broadcasting your position to the lieutenant with that expression.
Я и собираюсь выдавать.
Glancing over the board, you see several possible strategies. What do you do? Who cares about after several you place?
Well played.
Now it's the loot. How can you let the lieutenant stop for several turns? You draw an oh yeah baby. You've reached a critical strategic juncture. How do you respond to the lieutenant's aggression?
Давайте сначала возьмем контракт, у нас будет дохера денег, а потом мы нападем на лейтенанта. Он все равно нас разъебет на темновые.
It takes several turns, but you slowly begin. Feels good, doesn't it? But drugs, specifically while you daydream about the end game is upon flipping through the... Alternatively, you could try... The choice is yours. The lieutenant nods gravely as you erect tariffs against his apricots and sugar. This is going to get ugly. With every turn, tariffs are raised until neither you nor the lieutenant are producing any income or generating resources for the suzerain.
Так, это странно.
Even in the best of cases, it's impossible to really win a trade war. But this is far from the best case, and the lieutenant's apricot-powered economic engine crushes yours. Soon, your coffers are empty, and the map lies strewn with your worker tokens.
I hope you learned your lesson. Never fuck with King Kitsuragi.
Вот этого мы ожидали. Но мы будем факт с тобой. Просто не в этой ситуации.
Now, let's tally up the scores, shall we?
Computing the final scores is almost a game unto itself. You each spend an inordinate amount of time making stacks of coins, consulting tables, and struggling with basic addition and multiplication. After double, then triple checking your maths, you have your final score. -5 victory points. You'll be lucky if the suzerain doesn't have your whole family executed for such a pitiful performance.
I've got 15 points. Don't look too glum, detective. There's always next time. Figuratively, I mean. There's no way we have time to play this game again. Now, let's clean up and get back to work.
You hold the open game box before you. The worn map features the patchwork grid of the streets of Martinez, with directions to appropriately touristy locations. Year 48 resides on the upper right corner. Your finger moves through the various streets, across Rue de Saint-Ghislain and Rue Saint-Cybar, over Saint-Brun and Martinez North. Finally, coming to a halt on the spot where you are currently standing, although the map gives no such indication itself.
Теперь перейдем к грустникам.
Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here.
Воздушинку. Блин, давайте зайдем к ней в нормально было на официальной одежде. Причем я не знаю что. Нет, сапоги, да. Блин.
Yes?
A weathered brown door. The number reads 20. Something smells good. Soup allons. The lieutenant motions to you to go ahead and knock.
You're right. Let's talk this through.
You hear light footsteps passing by the door and some folk music playing on the radio.
We have our first preliminary identification. In all likelihood, the deceased is the husband of Billy Méjean. We need to confirm this, as well as deliver the death notification to Billy herself. Now, delivering a death notification is never an easy task. There's a reason why it's often called the most stressful part of our job. This is why it's usually done in pairs. You got this. I'll be monitoring reactions, ready to act if necessary. Dad, just don't say that you know how they feel. You don't.
The lieutenant motions towards the door.
Hello? Who is it?
And someone turns down the radio. He gives you a short, encouraging nod.
The police. A moment, please give us a moment.
Tidying up, nervously.
Come in, the door is open. It's you from the book stand. Did you come to bring my cockatoo back? I don't think I introduced myself properly. I'm Billy. Would you like something to drink? Tea? Lemonade? We're out of coffee.
The lieutenant has taken off his foggy glasses and is busy cleaning them in his handkerchief for now. You're on your own here.
Is this about Victor, my husband? Is he in some kind of trouble again? I can come pick him up in the station if that's what.
Keep it together. You don't want your body language to tell her the news.
Sorry, I'm rambling. It's just that Victor often gets into all kinds of trouble. So, how can I help you?
Definitely no small talk. This isn't the time or place.
Поток лейтенанта присоединил. Если мы начнем спрашивать, она будет волноваться, и у нас будет появляться минус. Так что, потому что у нас эмпатия на самом деле очень низкая, это очень хорошие шансы. Мы все еще можем провалиться.
I don't want to. I don't want to do this.
Say what?
Officer,
Too late. You ruined it. Just say it now.
Excuse me, what? What did you say?
She's in pain. She's in so much pain. And so are you. Your chest...
we are very sorry to inform you, but your husband, Victor Négent, was found dead this morning on the Martinez boardwalk.
Oh. Oh. But he was just...
I understand that this comes as a huge shock. I want you to know that me and my partner are here for you if you have any questions. We are very sorry for your loss, man.
What happened to him? Tell me. And you just found him there? Lying in the cold? How long had he been there?
She doesn't reply. Her eyes well up with tears as she struggles to keep it together. You hear the clock ticking in the children's room.
Is there anyone we could call for you? A friend, a family member, someone who could be here for you?
No. I just need to tell my girls.
It burns like acid.
God, should I call them? Should I tell them to come home?
Блять. Если бы у нас была хорошая эмпатия, мы бы нормально все сказали, но мы не можем.
All right, I'll call them. Just tell me, what do I need to do next? Where is he? Can I see him? And who should I contact?
He was taken to the city morgue. The local coroner will be contacting you shortly to arrange the funeral. Here's his number, in case you want to contact him earlier. Is there anything else that the RCM could do for you?
No, I'll call you if something comes up. I'm still a bit...
Кому нахуй нужен был простить Гарри? Ни один из вариантов, блядь, не хороший. Ужасно.
Again, if there's anything we could do for you, then don't hesitate to call the RCM. Man.
She just nods, distant and inconsolable. The bed springs rattle beneath her as she begins to shake. These are her last reserves of strength. Her muscles will give in soon to a scream.
I'll take it from here. Thank you.
We should step outside and talk. So, the death notification. It's all right. Don't worry about it. I'll call the station tomorrow and let them know the name of the deceased. That's it. We should get back to our case. There's nothing more we can do here. Officer, I've seen worse. This wasn't the worst I've seen, okay? Now let's go.
I really have, he thinks. She was strong. She made it easy for us.
Нам нужно это пройти. Я хочу ее поддержать. Она такая классная. Она поняла, что я какаду. У нас все равно это не получится, но типа, хотя бы не настолько говняно, но ёб твою мать, ну пиздец. Это... Я понимаю, что в этой игре проебы это нормально, и Ким тебя поддерживает, но если мы перепроходим игру, чтобы услышать одну фразу Кима, я хочу перепройти игру для того, чтобы не проебать эмпатию.
A weathered brown door. The number, the lieutenant motion.
You're right.
You hear?
We have our... Now, delivering a death notification is never an easy task. Dad, just don't say that you know how they feel. You don't.
The lieutenant motions to...
Hello?
And someone turns down. He gives you a short...
The police.
Tidy.
Come in.
Мы соберем все шарики и сохранимся перед... Бля, нам нужно одеться под эмпатию. Точно, у меня же есть очки на эмпатию, у меня есть шмот на эмпатию, я идиот. Я подумала одеться более официально, а я могу одеться нормально. Эмпатия здесь, внушение там. Остальных шмоток у меня на эмпатию нет, да? Где моя тут? Ага. Эмпатия тоже. Заебись.
It's you from the book stand. Did you come to bring my cockatoo back? I don't think I introduced myself properly. I'm Billy.
The lieutenant, he must feel vulnerable without his glasses. Is this why he's letting you take the lead?
Is this about Victor? My
Keep it together. You don't want...
Sorry, I'm rambling. It's just that...
Definitely no small talk. This isn't the time or place. You've done this before. Just keep your focus. Yes, that's the most important thing. Use that word.
What did you say?
A great and terrible spike. The blood freezes in her veins.
Oh. Oh. But he was just...
But he was just here, alive.
We understand this comes as a huge shock. I want you to know that me and my partner are here for you if you have any questions. Take your...
What happened to him? Was he drunk? I see. And you just found him there, lying in the cold. How long had he been there?
If you say 2 days maybe, it will be etched in her mind forever. She blinks, eyes welling up with tears, as her hand starts searching for something from the pockets of her dress. The handkerchief.
Не давать поток лейтенантам слишком особенно. Ну, конечно, особенный, но думаю, Ким бы тоже вот был.
A small, terrified smile quivers on her face as she takes the handkerchief and wipes away the tears. She looks disoriented.
Is there anyone we could call for you? A friend, a family member, someone who could be here for you?
No, no. I just need to tell my girls.
It burns like acid.
God, should I call them? Should I tell them to come home?
No. A day.
Good. That's probably the right thing. Thank you. Just tell me, what do I need to do next? Where is he? Can I see him?
We've taken him to the city morgue. The local coroner will be contacting you shortly to arrange the funeral. Here's his number in case you want to contact him earlier. Is there anything else that the RCM could do for you?
No, I'll call you if something comes up. I'm still... Thank you. Thank you for telling me. I'll call if...
These are her last reserves of strength. Her muscles will give in soon. Already, she starts to shake.
We should step outside and talk. You did well. You did enough. Can't save the whole world, you know. Anyway, I'll call the station tomorrow and let them know the name of the deceased. That's it. We should get back to our case now that our duty here is done. They'll manage.
They have to. It's not your place to live their lives.
Let's go.
Теперь я предлагаю развеяться и погулять по побережью. Во-первых, нам нужно его изучить. Во-вторых, потыкать ловушки. Для того, чтобы мы услышали запыхающийся голос лейтенанта. Кстати, мы уже открыли церковь, но мы еще не полностью изучили. Какое красивое освещение. Очень люблю вечернюю здесь.
An old door, worn by elements, guards. An old door, worn by elements, guards the depot. The wind has blown a sand dune in front of it. The door hasn't been opened in a long while. You see a handle.
Если я верно понимаю, тут вообще типа не зависит от того. То есть я сейчас надела перчатки, и шанс не изменился. Короче, эта дверь, она неоткрываемая. И это, по сути, такая пасхалка от разработчиков, то что некоторые штуки невозможно сделать. Принять, расслабься.
You rattle the handle a bit, then push on the door with all your weight. It does not budge. Not only is it locked, it's also jammed shut.
We don't get in there. Frankly, you're just going to have to accept the fact that you can't get in through every single door.
No. We've gotten into every door thus far. That's what we do. We open doors. We're cops. That's our perk. Even Everard knew that's a part of our MO.
Yeah, I understand you. I like opening doors as much as the next guy. But this one is simply beyond repair and we don't have the resources needed to open it. Relax. No one's hiding in there. If we can't open it, others can't either. And thus they can't get in. It's military. A service depot of some sort. The washerwoman mentioned a depot at the post. She said it was for moving ammo and cargo across the bay. This might be it.
Так, нам нужно открыть, кстати, мысль. Нам нужно забыть тряпку собирательства и открыть мысль. Стойкость даже не качает дополнительно, она у нас как есть, так и есть. Я хочу усвоить южное шоссе, что бы это ни значило.
There's a trap in the reeds at your feet. Looks like the same one you saw Morel set before. Same mesh, same wiring. The reeds sway in the coastal breeze. They seem to be waiting for something. The wind picks up here, near the Cape's end, surrounding the narrow strip of land from 3 cardinal directions. It's cold for this time of year. Locusts are crawling around in the trap, confused but uneaten. You see no carnivorous reed phasmid gorging on them.
Big surprise. Anyway, 1 down, 3 to go. I meant no offense, just...
Камень похож на лицо. Были еще какие-то джинсы, я не могу их найти.
The remaining windows rattle from a strong gust of wind. They're covered in a thick layer of grime. They must have been like this for 40 years.
No, I won't even try. You know, I had a partner once. They called him Eyes, because he had to show me things. It's that bad. Well enough, actually. It's odd how that works. I'm no sharpshooter, but I pass my shooting courses 7 out of 10.
His hands lead the way when it comes to that. And his shoulders. It's reflex.
Теперь мы знаем, что у него был напарник, что этого напарника сейчас, видимо, нет.
You see, a once bright mural towering, a slogan used to intertwine.
Good evening. Sure, what's on your mind? But of course, I do have some money, yes, but that...
He's not gonna give you money. What are you doing? Clearly you were just profiling.
Of course, Detective, I wouldn't have assumed anything else. Matter of fact, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but the Vespertine Department of Justice has published a rather interesting paper on the criminal profiling in former socialist states. Have you read it? If not, then you definitely should. If not for tips and tricks, then just for theoretical curiosity. Anyway, that's just a little something that sprang to mind. You were saying?
Forget it. They don't sell those kind of books at crime, romance, and biographies of famous people.
Нужно что-то еще делать с этими ребятами, но я не знаю, что. Блин, там малая под дождем сейчас сидит. На льду еще и под дождем. Ну хотя бы в шапке надеть. Она не наденет шапку. Я ей выдал шапку, она ее не наденет. Я сейчас знаю. Окей, вернемся сюда, куда пойдет снег. Без проблем. Вот это. Вот это наш идеальный лук. Ну, все в каком-то говне, конечно. Но нормально.
The silence in this part of the church, it's almost palpable. All the shifting matter and shuffling of living things is gone. Nothing seems to exist beyond the church anymore. Maybe if you were to stand in just the right spot, even your footsteps would be completely silent. And then it's gone. Almost all of it, but for the faintest of hums. You can hardly hear your own breathing. Your voice is barely audible. Not a howl, but the softest of whimpers. It's unnerving. You produce a few muffled thumps, after which the silence feels even more total, somehow. The lieutenant points to his ears and shakes his head. Then he leans closer.
Can you hear anything? I wonder why the church was built with such strange acoustics.
His detached tone conceals how uncomfortable he is. The lieutenant doesn't reply, but you can sense him tense up next to you. The orderly rows of ceiling panels become barely visible, then disappear completely in the darkness of the tower overhead. It's like there's something moving up there. A shadow has emerged from the tower and it's making its way toward you through all the other shadows. Yes, the darkness makes the ceiling feel infinitely far away. It's not a shadow anymore, becoming more substantial as it gets closer. The shape of an animal descends.
Officer, is there something up there?
Oh no. You've lost sight of it. Where did it go? Prepare for an attack. You see something hanging from the rafters, looking straight at you with dark eyes. Maybe it's possible to talk to it.
Красивый мужчина в красивых трусах.
Is that a man? A man made of the same stuff as the carpentry of the building. He is studying you intently. The man leaned forward a little, fixing you with a steady, unreadable gaze, then speaks.
Habitual alcohol use has made you into a scared little pussy, Holmes. But don't worry, everything's gonna be alright. You come to the right place.
Начало уже говно.
Here you can receive the mother's love. And when you're ready, she will take your hand and lift you out of the despair at the bottom of that bottle.
This man is obviously a habitual narcotics user. Do we really need to question him?
I'm put off by this religious stuff, he thinks. And maybe the ceiling climbing, too. It's all very hard to square with the lieutenant's own view of reality. Hey, and what was that about the bottle again? You haven't even drank that much lately. Lay off it already. Sheesh.
Sheesh.
Está crudo, way. I see deep inside you. Your body and your spirit are suffering greatly from overindulgence. And you don't even know it.
Я в полной мере чувствую все эти страдания.
Not all of it. I was like you once. You don't know all the havoc El Vino is wrecking on your mind and your spirit. Necesita parar, homie.
You know, actually, since we're here, you may want to pay attention to what the ceiling climber is saying.
Ким, ты за кого вообще в этой ситуации?
Look at these crazies. What is this shit?
Мне почему-то кажется, что ты в этом прав. Ты кем себя возомнил? Ты же просто псих под крышей. Ты знаешь, что вообще-то алкоголь состоит основой моей личности. Если бы я не пил, это было бы уже не я. Ты глупый, даже не знаю, о чем ты. Ты все конечно хорошо, но потом ты свободно захватится в полной собственности.
It doesn't matter who I am, Wade. I'm just bringing you the message of the mother's love. She don't want you to hang yourself on your own stubbornness.
У меня другая информация об этой суке.
This is the church of the mother of silence. You are welcome here. Sure did, Holmes. Oh man, I would love to see that statue. I'm sure I'd be trespassing if the church was in use, but it's not, hombre. I done my share of illegal shit. Used to be in a gang, the whole deal. But even memories of that time are fading. Most of them are already gone. That's not really the point, I say. You gotta give yourself over to service. Service of the mother, that is.
Я отдам себе послужение Дэдис. Стоит рядом со мной. Зовут Ким. Нравится тебе? Похуй, что тебе нравится. Главное, что нравится мне.
Do you remember your name, sir?
The lieutenant is not particularly interested in this information. He's just trying to assert some control over the conversation.
Tiago's my name, but those syllables don't mean much to me these days. A name isn't just your identity, but also, so to speak, your place amongst your fellows, your place in the world. I ain't got no use for such a place anymore. That's just the thing, Holmes. None of that matters. The ones in the tent outside, right? I see them. Think they scared of me. Nah, man. They look pretty funny. And I don't harm no one anymore. Anyway.
Though he used to, a long time ago.
Why not? They wouldn't bother me none. I'm usually way up there, imbibing. Ain't no music on earth that can reach where I go. Might even be nice to have some company.
He said that in spite of himself. He's more attached to the human than he'd like to think.
Other spooker? Oh, esa viejita es muy estudiosa. Don't know, Holmes. No, I just call her viejita because of her clothes. She's actually quite young. Or maybe not that young. Age is just one of the many masks we wear. That's what I said, Holmes. Don't really follow her comings and goings. Just see her typing on her computer now and then. We got different interests. I'm afraid not, S.A. You just have to wait until she comes back,
Or search through her radio computer.
Как она приходит и уходит, если целую неделю церковь была заперта?
A machine stands in the corner.
A radio computer. And it's turned on.
These machines sometimes harbor traps, he thinks. Alarm systems and the like. Let's be careful.
Такая красивая штука.
We should leave. I doubt this place bears any connection to the case.
You see fluorescent play and print buttons on the keyboard. A hatch connected to the central compartment is wide open. The lieutenant says nothing. You see the machine's glowing frame reflect.
На самом деле мы займемся этим позже, и нам надо сначала почитать. Ай, ёб твою мать, сраный дождь. Нам нужно сначала почитать по какой торговой зоне всякую хуйпутову, а потом уже взламывать ее компьютер, короче. Интересно, мы можем типа не в 9 зайти, а в 8 с копеек. Или типа только после 9. То есть у меня тут по расписанию очень интересные вещи. Я бы хотела сначала как-то...
This door is made of metal. No one answers.
We should return in the evening.
Не раньше 20 минут, блядь. Ким, куда ты? Я вспомнил, нужно попиздеть сколько. Я вспомнил где джинсы. Ну, дитя мое. Почему ты так далеко? О, ты грустненький, мы забрали у тебя труп. Что ты печалишься?
Kuno's like Kuno's dad. Kuno doesn't give a fuck about anything.
He's on your crime scene, bossing you around. And he's been here for some time too. This is where he hangs out. You have to get more out of him. He could be useful.
Fuck no! What are you? Fucking mentally handicapped?
Kuno, they've almost made you a snitch now.
Ease off, see? Kuno always takes the bullet over the hammer. Kuno doesn't fucking...
Даже в моем эмпатичном прикиде, в самом эмпатичном моем прикиде, Ким, много ты, да, это как-то вот.
Kuno's like Kuno's dad. Kuno doesn't give a fuck about anything.
Куна, я не собираюсь бить детей, но у меня в руках монтировка, и я не отвечаю за свои нервные импульсы.
He's on your crime scene, bossing you around. And he's been here for some...
Get your snout out of Kuno's ass. Kuno knows how hard Kuno pushes it. Kuno pushes it hard level. You should give up, Popo, or the Kun will keep fucking it out of you.
You okay, Kuno?
That went wrong. He took it as a compliment. Then he had a minor seizure.
Kuno doesn't fuck...
Ах ты мелкий безрук. Я тебя, блядь, устрою. Спокойно. Не ломаемся.
Kuno's like Kuno's dad? The fuck do you want with it? Good call, Pigmeister. Don't come and talk to Kuno about his kingdom.
It's not Kuno. It's Kuno S.
Fuck you whispering about?
He's whispering too. He's going with it. But watch what happens.
Fuck you! What's whispering about?
If Kuno wants to whisper, he's gonna fucking whisper, okay? Let's whisper, pig.
This is it. You've got him. But be careful. You can still fuck this up. Don't make Kuno look bad in this.
Crazy? You don't know the half of it. She's not crazy. She's insane. Dangerous. She's smoked a man. She's done people in. Probably even pigs.
Stop talking to him! Kuno, I'm fucking warning you! You're gonna get us into shit!
She understands what you're trying to do.
Yo, see? Did Kuno not tell ya? Kuno told ya. Kuno talks to whoever he wants. Talk, pig. Kuno's got it under control.
You did it. They're separated. He's even turned his back to her, so she can't read his lips.
Kuno means she killed someone. That's right. She's a killer. Like, actually a killer.
His little green eyes are fixed on yours.
Are you getting this? You think I'm fucking telling you a joke here? How hard do you think it is to kill a fat ass? Sweet talk him, then knife him. She's probably killed a pig too. I mean, I'm pretty sure she has. Forget Kuno said that. Kuno was just shitting. Kuno was just running his mouth. Kuno's stupid like that.
The creature peers at you both from over the fence. There is something searching in her eyes. Fear. Fear of the truth.
Yeah, she would have liked to fuck him up, but she didn't. Kuno wasn't around, and she was with Kuno. Look, Kuno's gonna put you at ease. We didn't do it.
He speaks the truth, my liege.
Yeah, she's psycho. None of that kiddie psycho, cat burning shit. She does the real deal. Yeah. Snuff radio shit. Believe me, pig, you don't want to know. Fuck knows. She says it's the song of her people or some shit. Crazy people. The fucking Nakis. I don't know.
Some things are too awful to dwell on. The Nakis and Runkaris might be some kind of defense mechanism.
Fuck no, she's not my sister. She's just a stray who got in, like a mad dog or some shit. Yeah, she was just there.
What was that, Kuno?
She was in the hallway, dripping wet, by the fucking shoe rack, in the dark. Yeah, that's the place. She was just balled up near the closet, psycho style. Kuno's got no fucking idea. Her hair was all wet. I think she pissed on the floor too. She was there for 3 days, in the corner, every time Kuno went out. I don't know. Someone left the door open. Kuno comes home and she's sleeping under the desk, under the pile of clothes, like a dog. Kuno's dad doesn't give a shit. Doesn't even see her there, or thinks it's fucking Kuno. Shit's all on Kuno.
Kuno? Kuno S? Two overcome.
Cause she fucking looks like Kuno. No one knows her name. Kuno told you this shit was psycho killer. How's Kuno dealing? Kuno's dealing just fine. He doesn't need you fucking with any of it. C doesn't either. Kuno's got this shit under control. Listen, listen. C is Kuno's go-to. Kuno's protecting her. You fuck with C, you fuck with Kuno. You threaten her, you threaten to take her away.
This is what it all comes down to. He needs you to take him seriously now.
I'm going to kill you. I'll run when you put the cuffs on her, sneak up on you later, and fuck you up. You understand?
He may not be able to do it, but he will try. Right now, he believes he will.
All right, now we can do business.
He's breathing heavily. That took something out of him.
Yeah? What do you want? Kuno can hook you up with
him up with shit, Kuno.
See, relax. He respects the Kuno. Kuno made him respect the Kuno. You respect the Kuno, you get all kinds of shit. Kuno's gonna get you hooked on illegal narcotics if you run a little errand for the Kuno. Get you hooked, pig. Get his hook in you. Then Kuno gonna get you hooking for more. Cash in big style. Pig hooker. That's right. Kuno's a candy store for pigs now. Get ready to be rewarded. Kuno gets it from his dad. Kuno and his dad are major suppliers. That's where Kuno gets his lightning on. Problem is, Kuno and his dad had a little falling out. Now junkies clawing at Kuno's door. Streets going mad. Kuno's got to throw his dirty popo man at it. Dirty popo man is you. In there is Kuno's violent dad on steroids. Kuno's dad does steroids and speed. If you can take him, you can have half of the speed. Kuno's dad is a fucking monster. He's the most violent man in Revachol. He doesn't give a shit about a single thing. He drinks too.
You know how you'd be best off here? With a gun. I'd be the star of the show if you only had a working gun.
Like half? A baggie, but like in this vial. Fuck you talking about half a G? This shit is giant grade A shit. So clean you can barely see it.
You can barely see it because there's barely any.
Okay, Kuno's listening. Sure, whatever. If you survive, make sure to bring that shit back to Kuno. Kuno's almost out. You wouldn't like the Kuno when he's out. Just get in the apartment building. Kuno knows you already fucked your way in. Kuno knows everything. Go to room 12, first floor, and kick down the door. Police violence style. Kuno style. And then it's action time. You're locked in the room with violent fuckhead. That's it. Next time Kuno sees you, you better have his shit.
What the hell are you signing us up for here? Okay then.
Kuno doesn't fucking...
Было почти 9.
Trying to sneak up on me?
Ну да, как обычно.
A shabby door hangs oddly on its hinges, secured to the doorframe with a safety chain. An unpaid energy bill is attached, threatening to cut off the electricity. It's addressed to Mr. Uno Doroita. Your heartbeat quickens, palms go sweaty. The siren of amphetamine is singing you her song.
And the place comes with 3 months' worth of utility bills.
A shabby door hangs oddly on its hinges. Snip. The cutter goes through them like dead leaves. The links fall to the ground on the other side of the door. Don't let the quiet fool you. The beast is in there somewhere, ready to rip you to shreds with a broken bottle.
I know there's no stopping you, but let's at least make this quick.
A phone book lies open on the table, covering a stack of utility bills. Right next to it, in plain sight, sits a small bottle of amphetamine, conveniently equipped with a straw.
Good. Confiscate it.
The minuscule amount of amphetamine doesn't interest the lieutenant in the slightest. He listens instead to something in the other room. You pocket the bottle as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Don't wait. Celebrate. Blast that shit right here. Take inventory of it once this boring table shit is done. Blast it before you face the beast, Deruita. You're going to need the encouragement. Bundle of clothes heaped on the bed, a stained parka, some towels and a duvet, some socks even. In the dark, it looks like a nest. Something underneath there is breathing. It doesn't give a shit that you're a cop. Stop your hand now, or you're gonna die. Your hand touches a greasy duvet, covered in cigarette burns and ketchup stains. You hear a growl. There is something alive underneath it. It's deep, in suffering somehow. You see a 60-year-old, fat, red-headed man passed out from large amounts of alcohol, and God knows what else. The smell of shit rises from his mouth. You don't have to take him down. He's already down.
I'm afraid it is. Look, it moves.
And look, the other foot is camouflaged by a striped sock bearing the name Maxtor on the sole. 3 toes are poking out of a hole. A groan rises from the man's throat, dry like a death rattle. He's trying to say something in his sleep. The bear is trying to wake up.
Well, judging by the color of his hair, I would say yes, it is.
The lieutenant's right. The man's unwashed hair bears a familiar ginger tone. Even the hair on his chest is coppery. The light from the window falls into his half-open eyes. There's still plenty to be scared of here, just not what you thought.
No, it really doesn't. This looks very hard to recover from. This man won't be feeding his family anytime soon. Not that he was, but at least he won't be beating his son.
A pair of half-open bug eyes is staring back at you from the dark, empty, and frozen. It's clear that the person behind them is not awake.
Can't you tell? It happens to exceptionally committed substance abusers. They fall asleep with their eyelids still open. Not a pretty sight. Look, he's trying to communicate.
The man groans once again, but his tongue keeps failing him. It's impossible to make out the syllables. A hand emerges from the blankets, trying to gesticulate something. And then it dawns upon you, clear and surreal. Pigs, he says. He's trying to call you pigs. Are you going to let a semi-conscious degenerate disrespect you? His hand falls back on the bed, limp and defeated. A loud snore escapes his mouth. He's asleep again.
At least he got to say his piece. What is there to do? We could turn him on his side so he doesn't choke on his own vomit, but he's already on his side. We could take him to Remedy or Saint-Baptiste, but he doesn't have money for medical services. The armed SARS will turn him down. They don't do charity for people who are trying to kill themselves. Besides, he'll be dead in a few.
The pile of blankets grunts miserably. Silence. Only heat emanates from the sleeping body. He wouldn't be too thrilled to learn you stole his stash. It was the last thing keeping him functional.
Сейчас у нас сложное решение. Что у нас там? Есть все еще 2 чести и хороший степока. Мы можем отдать спиду Кула, и у нас не испортятся отношения. Куна должен нам доверять. Либо мы, ну то есть, но при этом, разумеется, Ким будет очень плохо к этому относиться. Либо не портить отношения с Кимом и не давать ребенку спиды. Но там, короче, такая развилка. Как не развилка. Ну, короче, есть вариант, что Куна, который нам доверяет, это будущий офицер ИГРАЕМ. То есть, как бы, да, мы сейчас даем ему спиды, но мы, короче, мы взрослые, которые держат свое слово. И это, типа, для него необычный опыт, назовем это так. Так что я даже не знаю. Давайте попробуем отдать спиды. Мы помним, сколько у нас сейчас одобрения, сколько у нас сейчас чести, посмотрим, сколько это отнимет.
Kuno's like Kuno's dad? Kuno doesn't give a fuck about anything. Alright, so you got Kuno's kilo. Here is how we do it. First, give Kuno Kuno's kilo, then Kuno gives you half back. That's how we split it. It's the best way. Street way. Word on the street is, you sent your little friend in dressed as a hooker, distraction style. That's some sick shit.
Наряженной шлюшкой мой дружочек будет только передо мной. А твой батя пойдет нахуй.
Not a single muscle moves on the lieutenant's face.
Kuno wants to hear all about it, but first we split the kilo, then we shoot the shit. Kuno knows what Kuno means. Wow, that's heavy. There you go. More than half in there. Kuno's fucking honourable like that.
There is no movement on the lieutenant's face as he stares intently at the trash container. But he does not approve.
Now tell me, how the fuck are you still alive, pig? Yeah, so fucking what? Fuck are you talking to Kuno about that kiddie shit?
He's trying to fuck you again.
Fuck out of here. Kuno knows it's fucking lame. That's why Kuno changed it. Kuno can change his name into anything. Gonna change my name into...
Ты можешь. Ты реально можешь.
Don't change your name into that, Kuno.
В этом нет ничего странного, детка. Нас с Кимом все устраивает.
Yeah, you do some sambo shit, sneak in. Is the hooker thing real? What?
His posture changes, The swaying rooster motion stops for a second. Then he gets it going again, reorienting himself.
Fuck right. Kuno's dad was sleeping like a bum. Kuno told ya. Kuno's dad doesn't give a shit about anything. Fucking breaking and entering shit. That's nothing to Kuno's dad. You got lucky, pig. Kuno knew this. Kuno's fucking violent fiend dad's been drinking hard lately. Kuno knew you have a way in. Narrow window. Kuno window. Kuno's not fucking trying to be tough. This shit is real. Kuno's fucking violent dad's gonna be a vegetable. Kuno knows that shit. Stroke shit. Stomach fucked up and... Kuno's gonna go out like that too. Gonna be just like Kuno's violent dad. Speed shit, crime shit, fucking on the bed. Go out West Revachol style.
Stop saying all this sad shit, Kuno.
There's a touch of grief in there.
Fuck you talking sad? Kuno's got hard shit, death shit, nothing shit. Get your fucking nun ass out of here before Kuno fucks it dead. You think 'cause you brought Kuno 1 gram of speed you're friends now? Turn into... Kuno ain't turning into shit. Kuno is that shit.
If he doesn't stop soon, he's going to collapse from exhaustion. He's red all over.
Kuno won! Oh, you won, Kuno!
He did not win. There is a crack in there now, and it's spreading across the face of his certainty.
The fuck do you know about Kuno's life? Kuno's got plans. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, we got plans!
6 meters underground, below piping from before the war, the collapsed remains of the Martinez storm drain system. There are 2 stolen flashlights with piles of batteries next to them, beside 2 bedrolls, in the dark and opening into the lower tunnels.
Fuck right there were. Fucking 3 years or some shit. That's right, it's a shithole. Kuno's gonna move underground, Leroyim shit, ancient shit. Kuno's gonna live in a fucking catacomb.
Yeah, in a tomb, Kuno!
Yeah, pig, this shit is done. Now get the fuck out of Kuno's face. Kuno needs to drop the bomb. Kuno doesn't fucking care.
Так, и что у нас по... Он отнимает всего 2 хорошие стекопа. Нормально. Живем. Ким, я знаю, ты это не одобряешь, но... О, 9 часов, 9 часов. Идем. Идем к нашему курящему Мартину Мартинезу, который вовсе не Мартин Мартинез. Напиздил он мне, напиздюнькой. Но сейчас будет замечательная сцена, замечательные реакции Кима. 10 из 10. А еще мы получим просто один из самых роскошных шмотов в этой игре. Hello, bro.
Gendarmerie, you found me.
It feels like a Friday. He seems to be in a good mood tonight. And his shirt is still unbuttoned.
Beautiful.
В глазах у него загорается огонек, когда он смотрит на тебя. Ля какой, ля какой. Не туда смотришь.
So tell me, are you here to make things right again? Beautiful.
Уличный фонарь отбрасывает тени на его лицо, подчеркивая изящную скулу.
I have some good news for you. My Sunday friend is visiting me tonight. I told him about you and he'd like to say hello. Step in. He's already waiting. Yeah, it does feel like the end of the week. Such gentle weather. Trust me, you do. That's nice, but I don't have anything to tell you. It's my friend you're looking for, not me.
He takes another drag of his unfiltered cigarette and looks around. It's getting dark and the neighboring windows have lit up one by one. Downstairs, a cat crosses the yard, disappearing into the bush.
Besides, I've got to run.
Something tells you you're never going to talk to an individual this cool or mysterious ever again.
Что ж, ступай. Я все равно привык, что меня постоянно бросают. Ну, какая драма кури, мои хорошие.
Just look at it. It's a beautiful night. Who's going to stay in on a night like this?
He's right. Only losers go to bed early. Time to break out the booze. A man on high heels stumbles out of a basement club, music blasting over the entire district. It's chilly, and as the chemicals hit his nervous system, 1,000 shivers ripple through his body. Something flutters in the corner of the lieutenant's mouth as you're saying those words.
We'll talk. Just not tonight. Take care, alright?
Different, of course.
Его рубашка. Почему его рубашка всегда расстегнута? Он так хорошо умеет слушать. Мне понравилось с ним разговаривать. Его манера как-то двигаться, и что у него ему загадочный. У него хорошо пахнет. Почему от него так хорошо пахнет? Гарри! Мать его дебла! Приятно с вами познакомиться. Вы думали, что лучше, чем Дом Факта с кем КАЦУРАГИ ничего не будет? Здравствуйте. А тут мы. Мы можем выбрать только что-то одно из этого и это.
Something so mysterious about the way he talks. Very.
Кима так все обидно, рыбак рыбака, как говорится. Гарри в этих ваших гейских водах очень новенькая селедка.
He's barely holding it together. It's all he can do to keep from bursting out in laughter.
Come on, detective, let's go. We've got a potential witness to interview. His Sunday friend, remember?
На этого чувака мы потом посмотрим. Тарелки. Лайнер. Да, выходной шелковый халат с драконом. Драма и электрохимия. Иди. Можем делать вот так. Мы хотели еще какую-то мысль подумать. Но постоять нужен 1 час. Ну, смысл забирает множество логики, и это ужасно. Но эти же мысли дают нам какие-то хорошие. Что за мысли? Дают нам что-то слишком хорошее. И силу воли, и внушение, самообладание. Не можем забыть.
Officers of the Revachol Citizens Militia.
You shouldn't be seeing him in an intimate setting. For some reason you feel this man's your superior. Superior, but he's not in the command chain. His hands are clean and well manicured. This is a man who knows the importance of appearances.
My name is Charles Vildrouin, and I am an official with the coalition government. I work for the Institute of Price Stabilité on assignment from Sur-la-Tille. I heard you talking to my friend outside. Very good. Super. I am here to assist you in any way possible. Ask me about the hanging.
No, first ask an innocuous personal question to get the interview off on the right foot. Yes, make it clear you're the one setting the terms here. Yeah, let's fuck with him. Who does he think he is? Assisting you?
Oh, we got it from an atelier in the East Delta Commerce Center. Personally, I think it's a little culturally insensitive, but the material is great. Sadly, the shop is now out of business.
Это те самые ребята, которые делали одежду из хитина.
That's really all I can tell you about it.
That didn't work at all. What was that? You were supposed to fuck with him.
У меня
Not
не было других
compliment
опций,
the
не
decor.
выебывайтесь. Не было других опций. Если вы мне ничего не подсказываете, это все, что я могу спросить.
The lieutenant takes out his notebook and nods to you to proceed.
I'm sorry to say I did, officer.
He didn't see the hanging. He saw the little show staged by the Hardys. Let him talk. He may know more than even he knows.
Officer, it's very difficult to describe what I saw that night. It was so surreal to me, like in a play.
What do you mean, like in a play?
It was just so strange. I could barely comprehend what was happening. I was on the balcony when it happened, getting some fresh air. I remember that first they came in, carrying what looked like a body. And then I saw all the surrounding windows were dead, one by one. That's when I understood. I should not be seeing this.
That lines up with previous testimony, doesn't it? Well done, detective.
Only that there were about 8 or 10. I couldn't make out anything. It was so dark. And it was quiet. Quietest lynching I've ever heard of, let alone heard. But I suspect you knew that already. I can't say I'm surprised. The fine reputation of the men and women serving in the RCM is well deserved. The coalition is only looking out for the price stability. Inflation is a killer, like a heart disease blocking the normal circulation of the economy. It must be controlled. The economy impacts the entire international community, which is why it requires international oversight. Well, I'm renovating it. It is an interesting project. The building used to be a 12-story skyscraper before the cannons took the top 4 stories off. This, of course, happened when the coalition forces landed here. You could say I'm undoing some of the material damage the international community caused when we arrived here. Yes, as I said before, I am a commissioner from Sur-la-Clé working for the Institute of Price Stability. La communauté internationale is what Revacholians colloquially call the coalition. In other words, the nations that stopped the disaster of the revolution. Your employer, technically speaking, the governing authority of Revachol. The RCM is but one part of this provisional administration. It is the most important thing. It's the central goal of any sound monetary policy. Maintaining the price stability is essential to maintaining high levels of economic activity, which is essential for maintaining high levels of employment, which is essential for maintaining the social stability.
Basically, it makes sure the price of bread doesn't change.
Précisément. Too much inflation, bread becomes too expensive. Too much deflation, it becomes too cheap for bakers to cook. That's why the Institute of Price Stability works to keep inflation just below 2%. But not too far below, no. Too below is also bad. Below, but close to 2%. The coalition believes in the importance of informing the public about the benefits of the price stability. Transparency is one of our principles. A sound monetary policy is essential for addressing uncertainty. Stability is the raison d'être of the moralité. It's the reason why I identify as a moralist. But oh, I don't have my leaflets on me today. That's too bad. You can always call our information line. Making information available is part of the Moral Intern's commitment to transparency. It's the international organization for moralists, hence Moralist International. The Institute of Price Stability is just one of its many mind babies, as is the coalition.
There are more nefarious powers to work for in the Moral Intern.
But of course. Well, do you value freedom? Do you believe in a normal, stable world governed by democratic values?
Me?
You've managed to catch the lieutenant off guard, but only for a moment. He quickly...
I'm a lieutenant of the RCM, dedicated to maintaining law and order in Revachol.
A very moralist answer.
The lieutenant is practiced in the art of putting on a show for one's superiors.
The Occident is part of the normal. Oranje, Sur-la-Clé.
То самое ранее, которое происходит, собственно говоря, наемных солдат.
Martinez? No. Martinez is something else. Revachol is generally difficult. It's led by an interim government, which means it hasn't yet achieved full democracy. But they are working towards it. You're all doing very well here, relatively speaking. Is this option D usually the most reasonable answer? Not boring, my friends. Responsible. Moralism is all about compromise and achieving the achievable. It's pragmatic, realistic, and level-headed, an ideology for doers. Are you a doer, my friend? It looks to me like you are. Now, enough of this delightful political interview. Was there anything else you wanted to ask? What's there to say? Sur-la-Clé is a modern, urbanized country that measures very high on the Human Development and Freedom Index. Mostly, though, it's known as the executive heart of EPI. Moreover, it is a great sponsor of less emerged countries. Revachol is only one of its many darlings whose progress it supports and cherishes. Because a great percentage of Revachol's culture hails from Sur-la-Clé. Its language, its people, its cuisine even, or at least in the downtown La Delta area.
Jamrock and other parts of the international zone have been mercifully spared of Sir Leclerc's love for meatballs and mashed potatoes.
Oranje is an exemplary nation who, as a core member of EPIS, contributes 28% of our annual budget. Next to Sur la Clé, Oranje is probably the most prominent member of the international community. As founding members, they are both very EPIS. Oranje carries a lot of political weight, while Sur la Clé takes care of the business side of things. Sur la Clé hosts the headquarters of the major EPIS institutions. Oranje's economy is one of the most advanced in the world. It has successfully transitioned from heavy industry to advanced services and generally acts as an engine for sustainable change in the international community. About what? Oh, it's very urban and very well organized. Their streets are clean, their horse cars run on time, the people are polite and efficient. Like I said, they are an example for less emerged nations to follow.
If he knows so much about Oranje, maybe he also knows about Oranje's mercenaries.
Whatever you wish, officer. Oh, that's unusual. The Oranjés are not the kind of people you associate with heinous crimes. It's such an upstanding and responsible country. Well, certainly one cannot rely simply on generalizations. That would go against our commitment to individual freedom. And, of course, any loss of life is a tragedy. So tell me, what have you learned about the victim? It's the responsibility of any good welfare state to take care of its most unfortunate citizens. They gave him a successful career.
Yes, killing was his business, and business was good. Did he love it before they made him do it again and again and again?
What else has your investigation uncovered? Extremely distasteful behavior. I cannot condone either drug use or needless boasting. Suffice it to say, that is not how we do things in Slovakia.
That's because they're all a bunch of squares who like to sit around with their fingers up each other's assholes.
That is extremely unfortunate. Yes, it's regrettable that this practice has a history in certain Occidental nations, even highly advanced members of EPIS. But rest assured, the Oranjese government has committed to producing a timetable that would lay out a path to transition to a professional army. Soon, there will be no need for mercenaries like this one. Oh, it's hard to put an exact date on it. I believe the proposal for the timetable is due to be completed around 60 or 61. See? That's the kind of progress that the moral intern makes possible. A great shame, yes. Colonialism is a dark spectre in Oranje's past. Which is why the work of the moral intern is so critical. It is our great bulwark against another century of bloodshed. Ah, what a shame. A man cut down in his prime earning years. Aha! A condottiere. Yes, it's hard to believe they still exist. As I said, the loss of any life is terrible, no matter who the person may have been. I do hope you're able to bring his killer or killers to justice. We must show that the rule of law still applies, even in reverse.
Да заткнись ты. В общем, мы этого чувака ничего особо нормального не узнаем. Только то, что все для все душные, блядь, кебланы. Ведь то, что вот такие чуваки дают работу чувакам вроде нас и с Кимом.
Ah, my friend. My friend is a good young man. His family immigrated here from Kedra, and life has not been easy for him. Kedra is a candidate member of APIS. But, between you and me, their potential membership is a more contentious issue. That it's never going to happen. They entered negotiations in 21, and it's been pending ever since. It's wild. It's also known for its mandarin trees and dust storms from supramoon. Kedra's an emerging market, but it still has a long way to go. Maybe that's why my friend's menage decided to emigrate. How did any of us become friends? Bad things happening on the Insulin's Peninsula? Oil platforms ablaze in the night? Civil wars lasting for years? Finally, the international community is forced to step in. Au contraire, it's how millions of people end up where they are, meeting the people's enemy. It's how I came here, and my friend too. Sorry, who? But I told you, officer, he's a bright young man here to pursue his education. Education is the foundation of our future, especially the arts. It is a call, officer, you have to understand. I can't give you his personal information. I'm sure you have your own methods and databases, right? Please don't put me in this situation. He's deeply enmeshed in the study of the fine arts, yes. He's a truly free spirit. He likes all the arts. Perhaps graphic design, printmaking, who knows? The world is open wide for a talented youth. I'm just enjoying the view. Listen.
The baby is crying in the neighboring apartment. Waves crashing in the distance. The sound of sea below the window.
No, listen. The Insulindian Bay. My friend comes and goes. I'm sure you've seen him around. He's a busy bee. I'm all ears, officer. A moment. Do you have everything you need from me? I'm afraid we won't have the chance to speak again once you leave. Of course. I'm glad I could help.
Отлично. Ким, ты никуда идешь? Мы добыли самое главное. Драма у нас в любом случае будет не слишком высокой, но нас устроит любой вариант песни, который у нас точно есть. Отлично. Мы оденем наш лучший шмот. Да, детка. Да, детка. Шляпу мы вообще снимем. Такую не уберем. Да. Видите, вот это. Тигрица, просто тигрица. Здесь еще, конечно, такая шапочка. Совсем. Но ее вы делать не будете. Шапка мне на самом деле больше нравится, но он закрывает нашу волосатую грудь. Сапогат мне как-то больше нравится. Вот. и черные джинсы. Спасибо, Господи, за черные джинсы. Черные джинсы идут все. Надеваешь их со своей любимой футболкой, зону цитаты, берешь в руки желтый полиэтиленовый пакет. Мля, какой образ молодящегося профессора покусал помойный енот. Не можешь подобрать что-то другое. В конце концов, ты обычный джинсы. Красиво. Итак, мы тоже уберем. Мы, наверное, здесь не сможем закурить. Мы сохранимся и попробуем спеть. Вы видите, как в этом ходит Гарри? Просто посмотрите на эту задницу. Да, детка. Ким.
The stage is all set up for your performance. Feels silent. You can hear the pellets creak under your feet.
Независимо от того, повезет нам или не повезет, но на самом деле мне больше нравится та песня, которую он орёт высоким голосом, и Ким нас сама поддержит. Но когда мы споем типа красиво нашим прекрасным низким рептильным басом, это тоже замечательно. По сути, мы слышали оба голоса, которые поют песню. Это те самые голоса, с которыми мы говорим, когда спим. И в любом случае, надеюсь, вам понравится.
You feel a little dizzy, a little unsteady suddenly.
So, are you ready for your thing now? Let me know when I should turn on the karaoke carousel.
I can see that.
Immediately, a loud feedback noise startles the room. You feel like an amateur. How are you supposed to hold the mic? Should you just sing into it? Where should you stand? Hands. Where do you put your hands?
Идеальные шансы на самом деле. Стиль одежды безумно шелковый дракон. То есть +1, +1, -1, -1. И то есть получается у нас прям равные шансы. И на ужасное выступление, и на прекрасное. Мне кажется, это идеальное положение для того, чтобы попробовать.
The air is thick with anticipation. Someone dims the lights as the music starts. A lump's in your throat suddenly.
Go there to the tiny church there, the smallest church in Sansan. Now it once was larger. How the real may rest there, down through the mist there, towards the Seven Sisters, towards those pale cliffs there. I would often stay there in the tiny yard there. I have been so glad here, looking forward to the past year. But now you're all alone. None of this matters. At all.
Я любил заглянуть в крошку церковь Сен-Санс. Крошка церковь мала, хоть бывало побольше. Небольшая река там журчит между скал, как сестрицу ее обнимают утесы. Я там часто бывал, за церквушкой трава. Я там счастлив бывал и хотел бы остаться. Но теперь ты один, и все в жизни пусто.
Do you hear that? It's the most pathetic applause in the world, Harry, made of pity. No one liked you. You hear, or think you hear, uncomfortable shifting around. A bit of laughter, maybe. No one saying anything.
I'm gonna unplug the mic now, okay?
Настоящая песня, в самом деле, что...
That's it, I'm unplugging it.
That's it. You're unpowered.
Let's go, officer. These people wouldn't know a good performance if it beat them in the ass.
Тебе понравилось?
Detective Dubois, it was downright tragic. Now, let's go.
I mean it, he thinks. To him, being a cop in the RCM was truly expressed in that performance.
Но я бы спел хорошо, потому что только после хорошей песни мы можем посвятить ее КИМу. Поэтому мы загрузимся. И скорее, и мы не будем трогать микрофон, и тогда, по идее, должно быть все хорошо. Либо вам придется снова слушать плохое исполнение. Как бы промотаете. Нихуя страшно. Нам нужен глашеньк. КИМа. У нас есть, может, у нас есть что-нибудь еще на драму? А может, у нас есть очко навыков на драму? Давайте. Драма плюс 4, блядь. Да.
The stage is all... You feel a little...
So, are you ready for your thing now? Let me know when I should turn on...
The air is thick with anticipation.
А теперь слушаем и наслаждаемся.
Someone dims the lights as the music starts. Okay, here we go.
I would often go there, to the tiny church there, the smallest church in Saint-Saëns, though it once was larger. How the real may rest there. Down through the mist there, toward the Seven Sisters, toward those pale cliffs there. I would often stay there, in that tiny yard there. I have been so glad here, looking forward to the past here. But now, you are all alone. None of this matters. No, none of this matters at all.
A lazy applause fills the room. You feel your hands shake as awareness of your body returns to you. The lieutenant doesn't say anything, but gives you a quick smile before turning away. He's incapable of blushing, but if he weren't, he'd blush.
Мы сделали это. Мы сделали это. Это было наше большое признание лучшему мальчику. Люблю себя, Ким.
Good, good. Are we ready? I want to unplug the microphone now.
Last words?
Ничего не говорит, Вичи таинственно.
Ah, smallest church in Saint-Saëns, right? Cool. Now, what can I do for you?
Я думаю, на этой прекрасной ноте мы можем сегодня закончить. У нас было признание, у нас была хорошая песня, у нас почти случилось гейское подполье. Мысли о нем мы подумаем завтра, точнее, скорее всего, в понедельник, потому что на выходных я, скорее всего, играть не буду. Да. Так что это хорошее завершение недели, замечательная игра, очень длинная вышла, хотя я думала, что поиграю часик, мне очень хотелось спать, но мы сделали достаточно, даже более чем достаточно. Так что спасибо за просмотр, мы отключаемся.